Welcome, welcome to Jury Review. I am Kareem Clemons. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for following me. Today is July the 2nd, 2021. I'm so excited, and so did you. This is Jury Review audio. The jury people are on vacation. It is Friday, and I want to start off with this breaking news right here, right now. Okay, so apparently, we have some information coming out of social media network, and I'm gonna be giving you some updates on the um, the Surfside, Florida building collapsing, and also I'm gonna be giving you some information on Bill Cosby after his conviction was overturned. I do know that the Mega Studio News and Talk Show T, we discussed Bill Cosby back in the past. I think the last uh, where we spoke about Bill Cosby, where he was up for parole and he was denied because he did not attend sexual, educational, and all this other stuff. And we found out that his conviction was overturned. Apparently, the people didn't notice or didn't know about information that was in the courtroom. And I guess everybody's not going to realize that information because they either don't know or is a gag order or nobody's going to even say anything because the fact is that it's just not the public's business. So if we would have known about this agreement deal in the Bill Cosby case, then we would have known that he had a deal and all this other stuff that came forward should have been like out the window. He shouldn't have went to jail. He shouldn't spent any time. He shouldn't have been sentenced. So we'll have some information on that. But right now, I want to thank everybody. We are live on Jury Review on Facebook group. We're live on Green Clemens YouTube, and we're live on Periscope, Twitter. Oh, let's say Periscope, Twitter, but they still live and archived. Okay, but in the meantime, I want to start off with Surfside, Florida, with the condominium that had collapsed a week and one day. It happened on Thursday, the 24th, June 24th, 2021, and it's already been a 1 week and one day. And right now, the death toll has rose to 22 people have been found in this building so far. Now, my thing is this, ladies and gentlemen, the jury review is basically going over what occurred over the weekend and basically giving my view and my view only. And that's it. It's my opinion and my view on stories that I bring to you right here on Jury Review. And we usually have the jury people in the background, but unfortunately, they're on vacation. So, because the 4th of July is coming up and they have the Friday off. And we was at a session last week because session was in recess. So we're back here. Well, I'm back here, and I want to basically talk about this story real quick. All right. So basically, this is a 12-story building, right? And basically, right now, since the death toll is at 22, 126 people is still missing or feared dead. Now, these are people who was in this building. They were sleeping in the middle of the night, and all of something they hear the building shaking or they feel the building shaking, and those who are up, they manage to get out, get to safety. And also those who already knew that the building was having problems, they kind of knew for, you know, without doubt that something was happening that day, and that's what got them out. But those out of the 150 something people who were missing, they were unfortunate. And the building collapsed 2 something in the morning, trapping and killing people. I say trap and kill people because they found 22 bodies, so that's the death. And we don't know if there's people trapped in that building in pocket zones, as what they call it. Um, my opinion, I want to say to the first responders, I want to say to everybody that's down there, thank you for getting out there and doing what you have to do. Thank you for helping those people who are to look for their loved ones who are missing. However, I want to say this. I see the same image on social media for a week and one day. And the image that I see is the side of the building and the other top of the building that's standing up, and the debris that is flat down on the ground like a pancake. And when you look at the building of what it used to look like, the building is completely into rubble. Like it's completely gone. Okay. And they are now saying that the other half of the building is probably going to fall down, or possibly it's not safe because they feel that it needs to come down, but they still have 126 people missing. The image that I see on social media is that, you know, I see a whole bunch of rescue people standing on top of this rubble. I see the cranes. I see the uh, the the trucks, the police, everybody. I see that. Also, the president of the United States may visit or tour there with the first lady to talk with the first responders and also meet with some of the families and see some of the people who are missing. I just feel that the first responders are not moving fast enough for these people. Now, mind you, they keep saying that there's these air pockets and that there's been other catastrophes and other building collapse where people survived. There have been people, they say, have been under rubble for more than 12 days. My thing is this, ladies and gentlemen. These families want their loved ones and they want them now. And I know that it takes effort and it takes money and it takes people and it takes resources and it takes all this, right? But these loved ones, family members are definitely saying that you got to hurry up because the time is running out. I see the same pile on the ground, these people standing on it. I see the same thing. And they say they dug a hole and they got to the bottom. I didn't see no hole, but apparently they say they got to the hole. But every time they continue to dig a hole or dig something, they're finding bodies. Now, I think this is just my opinion, and maybe I may be wrong, but this is my opinion. I believe that the rescue people need to work a little bit faster and they need to work a little bit on the aggressiveness side. Now, what I mean about that, now I know that people work because they want the safety of the men and women and the dogs to be protected as fully as possible. But what do you say to a family member who has a loved one who is under that rubble, and you're saying that they could be possibly alive? But how can they be alive still when we're already 7, 8 days in, and I have not seen one slab? I see the same image with the because you see it because the building had a unique pattern, and you can see those patterns in the rubble, like they're just flat down, like a pancake. And you would think that a crane would pick up one of those slabs and just pick it up and move it away. Maybe it's not that easy. Maybe you only see one part of the view, but you're not there. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself when I say this. You're not there to see that, so you can't really talk about the fact that, you know, uh, there's gonna be that they can do this as soon as possible, and they can pretty much move quickly. I don't see it. But my thing is this: I just really, really wish and hope that somebody is pulled out alive so they can get the medical treatment and the medical attention that they need. Because time is running out. Time is running out. Time is running out, and we need people to be patient. Again, we want to thank our first responders, the dogs, the cadaver dogs, the canine dogs, everybody who's in this process, who is working to make this happen. Thank you so much. Because, again, these are my opinions, and this is what I believe. Because I know that things, it takes time. And I know that those family members are saying to themselves, please hurry, 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 because I don't know if my mother or my father or my sister or my brother needs medical attention or needs help right now. So I need them to hurry up because I want them to be found safe and sound if they are in the air pocket. It's been raining. It's been hot. It's been raining. It's been hot. And so many people have gone through this problem where they had to stop because there is not is the safety of their men and women. So maybe that answers your question, Kareem, where you say maybe they're not doing it much faster. But apparently there is a hurricane or some bad weather that is supposed to be coming their area in their way that's going to halt possibility the search and rescue, because that's what it is right now. It's a search and rescue. And trust and believe they're going to find out who is responsible. Now, mind you, they got all these stories coming out that the building had so much problems with electrical problems and serious concrete problems that the engineer had found out, and they brought this to the attention. But then obviously if the attention was met by the people who were the owner of the building, which they did say that construction was happening or was supposed to happen as soon as possible in that building, because the building has been there for 40 years almost. And they needed the whole recertification and they had to check everything. But apparently, the building flattened, it crumbled. And now somebody's going to be held responsible for this. Somebody. We don't know who's going to be held responsible, but somebody's going to be held responsible because now we have lawsuits happening, loved ones are missing, loved ones are found, and I'm just hearing the news right now that one of the bodies that was pulled out of the wreckage happened to be a 7-year-old who belongs to one of the fire and rescue people who is working on trying to get these people out. So imagine you're going to help someone and you discover that your daughter is in the rubble dead. Sad. It's really, really sad. Really sad. So they don't know. They don't know if the 126 people that are listed are still missing or fair dead. Mind you guys, this is the search and rescue recovery because right now we're going on a week and 1 day. Again, this happened on the 24th of June. Now, some people are saying that they may have heard noises coming from the inside of the building. The stories that I hear from the witnesses, they're describing that people woke up and that they looked down looked out in the hall, and apparently the next door neighbor's apartment was gone. Because if you look at the building, one side of the building is still up, and the other side is gone. And if you look at the video that's on social media, it shows that the building collapsed and it looks like it went in and it collapsed. At first, I thought that it came from the fact that, I see it all the time when I'm going past buildings that they have these long cranes and they put stuff on top of the building. At first, I was thinking, because they did say that they did see a crane putting stuff up on top of the building. Now, when I seen that, I automatically jumped to speculation saying that it could have possibly happened due to them putting the amount of weight and force on top of the building. You understand? Because it just looked like you know how they're trying to blow up a building and dismantle a building, and then they have those dynamites that go off. That's what it looked like to me. But you didn't see the lights. When you see the video, you will see from the distance that the building went down and you only seen the smoke rise after the building went down. It almost looked like an imploding from building being knocked down, but the only thing that you didn't see was the lights from the dynamites. And right now, again, I just think that the fire department, the people there in Florida, Surfside, Florida, they need all the help that they could possibly get from everybody. If it's not money, it's prayer. If it's not prayer for them, it's prayer for the families that are affected by this. This takes me back to September 11th. When the World Trade Center fell down, there was so many people who was missing. But in the same time, before the World Trade Center fell down, the plane went through the building, and the building was on fire for a period of time before it collapsed, with all those people in it. Now, mind you, look how tall those buildings are. When you see the afterfact of what it looked just like ashes. So just mind yourself, all those 2,000 people who died in those in that building at those collapse. Just picture that. And now picture this in Surfside, Florida. You have search and rescue, you have people coming to the aid of other people who is trying to, or possibly we want to keep hope that they're alive. Maybe someone's trapped in an elevator. Maybe someone's trapped in their bathroom under the sink or under the tub. But the time is running out because it's already again July 2nd. And this happened the 24th, 8 days ago. But the only thing we can do is pray and ask God to look over the families, look over those who are missing, and bring them safely out of that rubble. Because nobody wants to lay down at nighttime knowing that my loved one is still missing. And I know that they're there in that building, but they just haven't gotten to them. Or those who may be in the building in these air pockets, hoping and praying that someone hear their cries or hear their bangs or basically come rescue them. They have had many fires. They have had the safety of the other partial of the building possibly may collapse. It's just a lot of things that they are aware of. So, Kareem, when you say they should work a little bit faster, I don't think that could be. They have to pace themselves. You don't want anybody to get hurt in this. And they want to be as thorough and as professional as possible because someone could be banging, and we don't want to take that bang as and go and ignore it. That would be the highlight. If someone has survived in this building so far, they have pulled out so far they have only pulled out dead people. They haven't pulled out anybody alive. And I don't want the victims to lose hope that their loved one is not alive. They sure enough possibly can. I've actually looked at some videos online. Like literally, I went online, YouTube. I went to YouTube and I searched collapsed buildings, how people survive in collapsed buildings, stories on how people survive, and the air pockets that have the air in it, and basically people, if they don't have any type of water or any food in that area, they can suffer from dehydration and possibly malnutritious and die from those necessary needs that our body needs if they're still weighing it out. But again, there have been people stuck in mines, ladies and gentlemen, mines for days. And that's an air pocket because the only way in was water and the only way out was water. So in this case, the only way in is to get a crane that's going to lift up this concrete and remove the concrete that's there. Now, what I did was I went and I looked at the building, the before and after. They have the before and after shots. But what I went a little bit further into this, and I don't know if the investigators are doing this, but this might help. What I did was I went in to look at the apartments of the building. And how do you see that? I went on, I found some on Zillow. I found some on apartment.com. I just typed in the address and I looked at some of the apartments in that building. Apparently, these apartments are the ones that are flattened down. And when you look into these apartments, you see that they're very big, big apartments inside. They're condos. You look into the bathroom, there's these big, big jacuzzi tubs. They have these big, big areas, So my thing is that if you look at this, maybe somebody had time when they heard the building shake, got up out of their sleep, or got under their bed, or went into the bathroom, got into their tub, or did something. But we do know that this happened at 2 something in the morning, possibly where people could have been sleeping. So this is jury review. And I'm talking about it right here, right now. I just really, really, really pray that the rescue efforts of finding someone alive is a miracle. To help those who are still trapped there, if there's anybody there, Lord. There was one story where a man has said that he received phone calls on his cell phone right after the building had collapsed from a landline. And he received calls from it, and that he called the number back, but it was like nothing but static. Then there was another story where a man said, out of the whole building collapsing, debris everywhere, he was able to go and find a photo of his grandmother and grandfather. Out of all photos, all everything, he was able to find that. And he was nearly blown away because he was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. He believed that it's a sign from God that the picture that he found was supposed to be there for him, and that his loved one is resting ashore in the hands of the Lord. Because right now, if anybody is an elderly or a child in this type of predicament, as far as this building collapse, I would probably assume that they're deceased. I didn't want to say that. but it's the reality of understanding and is coming to terms with what's happening. And people don't understand these phenomenal, catastrophic events that take place in society. Sometimes people ask, Lord, why does it have to happen to us? Why does it have to happen to us? Why do we deserve this? Why did my family, or why do we have to go through this burden? And then we feel like we're being penalized because we have to wait for our loved one to be found. And for those who have not found their loved ones yet, are waiting patiently. But I can tell you that they can't wait anymore. For those who have found their loved ones already, who have been identified by the medical examiner's office, have some relief knowing that they're not in that rubble no more, that they can lay their loved ones to rest. It's just bad across the board. And I really, really pray that everyone who is missing is found. And I really pray that if those who are seeking survival in this rubble, that they find them as soon as possible, because time is ticking and time is running out. Let's have a moment of silence for all those who are missing, the first responders, the men, the women, and the animals who are out there looking for the people who are missing. Let's have a moment of silence for them right here, right now on Jury Review. Thank you. And let me put this in archives. I am now reading here that the governor of Florida has stated that there are more than 400 members of the United States Army Reserve from India, New Jersey, Ohio, and Virginia have arrived in Surfside to assist in the effort. So there's 400 plus those who are already there assisting. So hopefully they will be able to get more and more of the rubble out of there by time next week comes. You know, we had the 4th of July happening on Sunday. These families are still going to have to wait for their loved ones. People are still going to be digging into the night. They are working 24/7, as they say. So there is still hope. I want to say there is still hope, and that if there is someone there, please, Lord, in the name of Jesus, watch over them. And let them know that someone is coming to get them as soon as possible. I can't even say be patient. I can't even say that. Because if it was me and I was there, I can't see anything. Probably the smell, the air quality may be messed up, but still you have just enough to breathe. It's just thinking and trapped under there. Are they going to come and get me? It's already been 7 days, 8 days, Lord. I need you right now. That's the Smokey Norfolk song. Not another second, not another minute, not another hour, not another day, but Lord, I need you right away. They need you right now, Lord, for a miracle. And again, those loved ones are waiting for their loved ones to be found safely. They're saying that this may be one of the deadliest building collapses in U.S. history. But I also want to put this out in archives that, again, like how I told you in the beginning, that they're saying that they are going to hold somebody responsible. They're saying that, you know, uh, they're saying that the 2018 engineering report prepared for the 40-year-old recertification process found structural defaultations that are now the focus of inquiry that they include a grand jury examination. They did it with 9/11. They held somebody responsible. The Pentagon, they held somebody responsible. All these tragic events that happen in the United States soil, they hold or try to hold someone responsible. But I can tell you one thing. When that insurrection happened on January the 6th, they should have held the former president of the United States responsible for that attack on our capital. They should have held him responsible. But you see, what's in the dark comes to the light, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, speaking of the former president, one of his top associates of his building was indicted by the grand jury. And they're trying to get to the bottom line. So what comes around goes around. But they're going to hold somebody responsible for what took place on June 24th, 2021 in Surfside. They're going to hold someone accountable. And that they're going to make sure they get to the bottom line. And right now, they already got lawsuits happening right now. People are asking questions. Social media is saying as recent as April, the condo associate president wrote to the residents warning them that major concrete damage identified by the engineer around the base of the building has grown significantly worse. That was April, ladies and gentlemen. April of 2021. Just a month and a half later, okay, the building collapsed. Now, what would you say or what would you do when you receive a letter stating that the base of the building has grown significantly worse? If you knew that, why the hell did you continue to have people in that building? And if you knew that, why the hell did they even attempt to put anything on the top of that building? Just adding more pressure to the structure that has grown significantly worse. I'm telling you, they're going to hold. They're going to hold somebody responsible for this. They also said that some of the members. Oh wow! Wow. So they're saying that the board, in the statement on Friday, said the board, some of whom's members remain missing, said it would appoint an independent receiver to oversee the legit, the legal and the claims of this process. They're going to get to the bottom line of this. And trust and believe the social media news is going to be all on this because they just need to know. They just need to know. Okay, welcome back. Okay, so right now, real quick, again, thank you for taking the time to listen to this audio review on jury review. The jury people are on vacation. They will be back very soon. This next story, real quick, I want to talk about Bill Cosby. Now, we have talked about Bill Cosby on this platform since his trial, since his second trial. Now, again, this second trial, mind you, was a hung jury in the beginning. The second trial is they allowed one of his accusers to testify, and I believe that they went off of that and they convicted him, gave him 10 years. And then now we're at the point where the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, overturned Bill Cosby conviction and they released him from jail after serving 2 years from a 10-year sentence. So Bill Cosby, 83, Cosby Show actor, once known as American Dad, spent his first night out of prison doing comedy routine. Okay? Spokesman says that, or someone close to Bill Cosby saying that Bill Cosby wants to return back to the stage. He want to return back to his comedy. That's what he's known for doing. So where do we stand at here? Where do we stand at? So I want to clear this up for the Omega Studio News, Talk Show T, and our platform. We didn't know the story of this deal that they have reached in the beginning. See, if we would have known that, then we would not have been at the situation where he would have went to jail. It was a deal that obviously they did not respect, and that we do know that in this case, Bill Cosby may have been dealt a shitty hand, and that his fair treatment of being in the justice system was not fair at all. And he is a human being like everybody else, and that he demands justice. So after he was sent to SCI Phoenix in Collegeville, PA, and was sentenced to 10 years in prison for these charges, and then they were saying that when he come out, he would have to register as a sex offender. Now, this shows to me that when I last reported to you guys about this, and the jury people was here, we had went over the story where they had said that he refused to go to these classes. And now I know why he refused. Because maybe the man is innocent. And he did not want to partake in something that he didn't do. And that they violated his rights in the criminal justice field. Because 2 years of his life, when you see this man released from the SCI Phoenix just around 2:30 in Philadelphia after his case was overturned. He was looking very skinny, like he lost a lot of weight. And 2 years of this man's life gone. And had we not known about this, this man could have done 10 years automatically or whatever and got out and registered as a sex offender, been on parole and all this other stuff. Had not the court step in and help this man out, like anybody in the justice system will want to get helped out if they was in a sabbatical moment like this. It is really scary because now they're now looking at the fact is, what about Harvey Weinstein? What about him? He was convicted after Bill Cosby. What about R. Kelly? He wasn't even convicted. But we know that he's in jail and that he was more recently moved to a jail in New York because he has an up-and-coming trial in September. What about these people? You know, this brings me back to the whole Meek Mills and the Jay-Z and Kim Kardashian. They out there, and the other names that I haven't mentioned that are out there passing criminal justice reform. I say Kim Kardashian because she was in it and trying to help Brandon Bernard, who was executed December the 11th, 2020. And the young man was innocent. Well, he wasn't innocent, but he was found guilty. And Kim Kardashian was thinking that there was a very good chance that this man could have survived and they could have overturned it. But since the former president was in office, he had to execute these people and execute them quick. So that's why I say Kim Kardashian, because I covered the story on that where she was fighting hard and tirelessly for Brandon Bernard, but they still killed him. Jay-Z and Meek Mills. Meek Mills was in jail. And I think that that's something that Meek Mills wanted to not only help himself, but help other people. Because his case was where he was locked up and then he got locked up again because of the judge and all this other stuff. But whatever it is, he is out there helping and fighting for other people who are in the criminal justice and they are innocent, or some of them was found guilty when they was innocent, and some of them spent time in jail when they were innocent, and I'm talking about over 10 or 20 years. So when you see people like Bill Cosby and you hear stories about the conviction overturned by the highest court, the people under the Me Too movement is devastating. They are mad because somebody like Bill Cosby, that they feel in their eyes is a monster, got released after stating to everybody in the whole world that he put Quaaludes in women's drinks and that these women would pass out and boom. I don't know what he did back then. I wasn't alive. Okay? But apparently, something that we, the public, did not hear or did not know. Because if we did, then again, we would have knew for ourselves on the situation. But again, we take what we see on social media and we use that to help us build our story and give our opinion. Well, that's what I do as a citizen journalist. But we don't. If we don't know information, then we won't understand the complete story about someone's case. And if we would have known that a plea deal was met in the beginning for Bill Cosby, then we would have known that this man should not have seen anywhere inside of a jail cell or perhaps given the amount of time he was given. Okay? So, yeah, they're saying, what about Harvey Weinstein? What about him? Are they looking into his case to see whether or not there was some type of discrepancy on their part? I don't know. So the headlines are saying that since Bill Cosby walked out of prison a free man after a court overturned his sexual assault conviction, people are wondering, could Harvey Weinstein be next? I don't know. And the hashtag #MeToo era his case has been often been compared to of the Harvey Weinstein, who is serving 23 years in prison sentence in upstate New York for sexual assault and rape. And I think that's just for some of what he did. I think he has other charges that is pending against this man. We do know that both men, Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein, were powerful Hollywood figures accused of exporting their fame and influence to sexual assault dozens of women. Both of their trials feature accusers who testified about prior bad acts, other sex crime beyond ones Cosby and Weinstein were charged with to show the two men had a pattern of predatory behavior. So what does that mean for Harvey Weinstein? Could he possibly be a free man? Or they just gave Bill Cosby fair treatment? Who knows? Who knows? We just know that Bill Cosby walked out of jail. We don't even know if he has any type of stipulation. Like, do he got to do the probation? Do he have to register as a sex offender? Does his case get expunged? His record is sealed or it's overturned? So I don't know. I got to look into that more, because what does that mean from the Supreme Court when it's overturned? Meaning, I know that they overturned the sentence, like they overruled it, like they because they're the highest court in the land. Those are actually the same people who you got to go to when you're asking for clemency. And when that all runs out, if the governor and the judge didn't call that phone, then they got to continue with the process. So, yeah, Bill Cosby is a free man today. He's no longer in jail. And we do know that he is looking to go back to the stage so he can get everything out. He probably going to talk about what happened in jail. And you know if he does that, he's going to have a lot of tickets sold out. A lot of people are going to want to come to see him and listen to him because there is still Bill Cosby fans out there. You got his co-host, Felicia Farad. Am I saying her name right? The mom who played Huxtable's wife on the Cosby Show. She's actually the dean at a college, and basically everybody was letting her have it. Like they were going after her, especially the people from the Me Too movement. They were like, because she stuck behind Cosby and she defended him. And people definitely was not happy with that. So they let her have it. And she's just really happy that Bill Cosby is out of jail. Okay. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, and then I want to end off on this note. Okay. So I want to say shout out to everybody who is listening on the jury review on the group on Facebook, YouTube, and also Twitter, Periscope. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to jury review. Also, let me add this into archives. In his first hour of freedom, Cosby indulged in pizza from downtown Philadelphia restaurant. He also stayed up until the wee hours of the morning sharing laughters. So that's kind of good to know that Bill Cosby is safe and sound. Okay, so let me end it off with this. So I do know that my girl T.S. Madison is hosting a Facebook audio with Tamir and another person on Facebook, and it's about mental health. It's Tamir Braxton, that's her name, and the other lady is Doctor somebody. But you guys can go up on T.S. Madison's support page on Facebook and check it out. But it went down tonight, and I tuned in and I was listening. So shout out to her. Shout out to everybody who made that possible. I want to just spread light on that and just give my opinion because I thought that what it was that people would chime in on, some of the conversation that they were talking about because it's different. It's not like you can type it in; you have to just hear it. It's just listening. So usually you have a video and then you can basically, type in your comment. But I wanted to add this to her uh, uh, mental health programming that she had on tonight. And they may have talked about it, they may not have talked about it, but I want to talk about this. There's number one mental health that people out there is suffering from right now, including this day, me, you, and everybody else. And that is PTSD. And that stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And you don't have to necessarily be in the army or overseas or in wars or in any of that stuff that happened to suffer from PTSD, because that's how I learned from people who were across seas and armed people were suffering. But I realized that I haven't even been over there, and I've been here in the United States, and I still suffer from PTSD. Now, I want to touch base on this real quick. I know, I think Madison had said, I kept it in the beginning. T.S. Madison said that she created this program, this broadcast, because people was knocking her down and ripping her up, tearing her up from the floor up, that when she made her statements back then when tried to hijack the airplane. I don't know, he tried to hijack it, but he tried to enter into the cockpit, and that the people took him down. They weren't playing. Okay, they learned from 9/11. They learned from their training that they're not going to have another catastrophic event where someone tried to take the lives of other people. And Madison said that those she expressed those uh she expressed that because she said that, if I can paraphrase this, that if you're going to take your life, take it in your own comfort of your own home and not around people, and something to those words. But I think the video is recorded, and I think it's going to be on, so you guys can go up on that page, T.S. Madison page, and listen to that. But I want to say that PTSD could start off in your home. Okay, somebody, especially, we just went over the whole LGBTQ and I and A. I learned what it stands for. Is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, uh, pansexual, and there is intersex, and yes, that's what it is. Okay. So people who may come out to their family about them being in the lifestyle, and they get denied or shunned or kicked out, that's PTSD. When someone is being bullied in school and they don't know how to deal with that, that's PTSD, ladies and gentlemen. When someone is on or at your job messing with you or harassing you and you don't know what to do, that's PTSD. When you have to go through jail, being incarcerated or locked up, that's PTSD. The people who are in Surfside looking for those survivors, they're going to suffer from PTSD, everybody. And some of those men and women who were there from September 11th is there right now at Surfside. They suffer from PTSD. People, we are suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. The mental health starts off within you. Diagnosis, getting the help, getting the treatment, going on medicine, that's where it starts. Just about an hour ago, I was listening to the story about this man who was in Philadelphia, who was gunned down by police, who responded to this house that they knew that they had problems at, but the man came out with a knife. And the police chief released the body cam footage of the shooting, which ultimately these two officers shot and killed this man in front of everybody in broad daylight. He was suffering from mental health. And the fact is that they felt that the police department should have known about that, and that if they would have known about that, then they would have handled the situation more differently. Now, what do I mean by that? And I'll tell you a statement from the police chief. Well, first, the situation could have been differently if someone would have showed up with non-lethal force weapon. I'm talking about a taser. The chief, she said that it costs $14 million, roughly around that amount, to get all the men and women who works on the police department in Philadelphia to have tasers. $14 million. She says she even made suggestions to the city council board to get the money going and flowing, but apparently they have not fulfilled her requests. I heard that they are trying to train their officers into dealing with mental health. Some of these officers out here is dealing with PTSD. So how can you send somebody out there to deal with PTSD to try to help somebody else when they suffering it from themselves? Some of those officers are veterans. They've been to wars. They've done things, been overseas. They suffer from PTSD themselves. So how is it, or why is it that you want to train the officers that has a gun and a badge and handcuffs? Their minds are already going through. Their minds are already going through. The adrenaline is rushing when they're going to the situation. So why should you train them when they need to be trained more thoroughly and stop killing people? Okay? So if you want to start off with training them, then you need to start off with that before you can even send an officer out there to deal with mental health, to get out there to help them. So my thing is this: they need to have a specialist, somebody that is aware and trained, has licenses, and done everything they could possibly do around that subject to go out there. Now, you know how you have cops, yes, and a camera crew out there with these cops going out on the street, showing the people what happens when they take down a suspect, what happens when a suspect runs, what happens when a suspect get arrested. You are there filming it, and you're there recording it because it's in archives, and they got tons and tons of it. Okay? So my thing is that why won't you have, and knowing when there is a call, when there's a call that goes out where someone is in distress and they have suffered from mental health problems, then that officer drives that person along with them. They have a bulletproof vest on, stab vest, whatever you want to call it, that's going to protect them. But they are the negotiators. When you have a bomb, or when you have, I'm sorry, not a bomb, when you have a bank robber going off, or somebody have barricaded themselves in a building, you have a negotiator who comes out to negotiate with the people or with the person who has barricaded themselves in. Okay? So in this case, you should have a mental health professional go out, and they should have already training, and they should already know how the situation. Nobody should lose their life over something that could be saved, something that can be saved. Then you got some people who say, well, when do you have or deal with someone who is having a mental health problem and also they're under the influence? So I may not know the answer to that, but I damn sure could tell you that the cops, sending the cop out there with a gun and handcuffs and the badge out there to the situation, is not going to make it any better. I don't even think that you should train these officers. As a waste of time and resources in training these officers to be mental health providers to the people who need it the most. No, absolutely not. Because again, like I said, it just, those people are suffering from it as well. And that is just too big of a risk to take. So I just wanted to piggyback off of what Madison and Tamara Braxton and doctor, can't get her name, but there was a doctor there All of them was on call talking about mental health. So I just wanted to add that in there because I thought that you can chime in by commenting or leave a voiceover and talk about it. Because I would have brought up the fact that PTSD is a serious matter that we all go through and that we're all going through right now, even if you don't know it. Because how do you know somebody is going through mental health if they haven't even said anything? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this comes to the end of jury review right here, right now. I want to take this time to thank everybody for tuning in right here. Again, we were live on the jury review page, Facebook, also YouTube, and also Periscope, which is Twitter. I want to thank you guys. Thank those who are here. Thank those who are on their way. Again, this is jury review. Again, the jury people is not with me. They're on vacation. They will be back very soon. For more information, you guys can visit the blog page. Have a good one.